Clock out, come home, and drink away. To bash and burn the weekly plays. Douchey calls and sweaty balls, this is Scotch Sporting.
Now imaginary finger guns.
I'm doing it still.
And
So
I
there you
did
go.
it again. I thought it would be a great idea in our incredibly short intro to take a big gulp of fizzy water.
It's the way to do it. You're
And I
just
didn't
drinking.
learn.
You're just drinking fizzy water?
I have no. I have
okay.
two.
Okay, perfect. I've got Hobo White Claw going on right now.
Ooh, I meant to do a gin and soda. This is the worst day of my life.
This officially worst day of all time.
That's aggressive.
Today, Wednesday, September 22nd, 2001. Jesus, 2021 is the worst day of my life.
Well,
And we
there
have it on
is.
record.
And we have it. We have it on record.
I
all
don't
time.
see how having a glass of wine instead of the gin and soda that I wanted. I don't know how you get worse.
I couldn't possibly imagine. There's nothing on this planet that could ever be worse than that.
From that decision.
Yeah.
I don't have a baby on my lap today.
Oh,
Oh, that's weird.
He is asleep
what?
without me, which is very exciting. This
That's
is the
like-
first Wednesday in 3 weeks where he hasn't been a fussy sack of shit, because he was
We're
a
gonna
fussy
lose
sack
ratings.
of shit before the podcast. I know. I just watch our numbers plummet without a baby.
It's
Yeah.
all downhill now.
Well, welcome to Scotch Sporting episode 4 of the rebirth. We'll have a little party. Chris is looking scared.
It doesn't look like it's streaming, but it's
After
okay.
his-
Keep talking, because it's
after his
recording.
wiggle
So.
I have
fingers.
it open. We're good.
Okay.
Whew, what a panic.
Fix it
We'll
in
get
post, right?
It'll
No?
get fixed in post. Exactly. This is why I record it as well as stream it.
There
So
you
that way
go.
we have both.
Fixing in post is a joke,
Mhm.
but it 100% happens constantly.
Oh, I bet.
Like Franken edits and color correction and putting things in specific orders. It happens all the time.
Yeah, I can see it in the limited amount of editing I do. I'm like, oh, I can totally fix this.
Just imagine what the pros have to deal with.
Right. By the
I
way,
was,
is anybody?
I was watching a guy's grocery games, and there was they did all the judging, but before that they had like what the prize was, and all the food had already been eaten. But then they went and did the judging, so it was clearly done
Yeah.
after.
I was gonna make fun of you for watching that show, but it's also a show that if it's like a Saturday afternoon and
Yeah.
there's literally, I'm like, fine.
I put the Food Network on in the background all the time and just watch whatever's on.
I don't think
Except if it's Bobby
ever
Flay.
I don't think I've ever put the Food Network on. Not once in my life.
Food competition shows are my jam, except for beat Bobby Flay.
Lindsay loves all of those shows. I can't do any of it.
I could probably watch 9 hours of Chopped.
See,
And
now
as
you
you
say
say,
that, and
that's
it's like
every other weekend.
and it's like Chopped is actually pretty interesting.
Chopped
'Cause
is fantastic.
I say that I've never put it on, but that doesn't mean that I haven't walked into a room and Chopped
I was
was
gonna say
on.
it hasn't
Oh,
been
yeah,
on.
Right.
might as well watch it.
No, it's there.
Yeah. So
I think it was and someone is going to look it up and be like, no, it wasn't. Anthony Bourdain was asked about like Guy Fieri and Guy's grocery games, and he's like, look, he's a great guy, and he's like the most powerful man on the Food Network right now. He could do any show in the universe he wanted, and he does fucking Guy's grocery games. Anyways, guys, I wanted to start with this most recent episode of Ted Lasso
yeah. Okay.
and get your thoughts on it,
Oh, that's interesting. This is an interesting start to the show.
because it is polarizing.
Right.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I don't understand why, because like I still enjoyed the episode. It wasn't necessarily what I was hoping for, but for me it was nice to see these secondary
Beard.
characters
Yeah.
and to see Beard. He's always been there, but he's never been the
Explored.
focus, and now he's the focus. And that was pretty neat.
Is there anyone who Tyler? Is there anyone that didn't like it?
To be honest, I haven't actually watched the latest episode. I
Okay.
am behind.
No
So-
spoilers. But I just want to say this could be a result of Apple ordering 2 additional episodes for season 2 because there's 12 episodes for season 2.
Oh, that makes sense. So they had to fit something in that wouldn't affect the plot in
Yeah.
any way.
Probably.
So that makes nothing but sense, actually.
And then to call it
Okay.
Beard After Hours when it's like blatantly inspired by After Hours, Scorsese's film, which again Scorsese was mentioned earlier in season 1. It all fits. I love it.
I just loved it because he has, and again, this is no spoilers for Tyler. He has, the character, like you picture him with an insane life
Right. And
inside of
and you
this,
see that.
and to catch a tiny glimpse of it just made so much sense. And I don't know why this made me like it more, but Brett Goldstein, who plays Roy Kent, wrote that episode.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's written a bunch, but the fact that he did this one, I was like,
he's
He
one
was-
of the writers. He's been
Yeah.
in the writers'
He
room
was
from the
initially
start.
just hired as a writer.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
he,
And
he
then as they got through the
submitted.
process, yeah, he wanted to be.
but
Roy Kent.
and I think this is a TV thing. Like we could all be writers, but one of us would get the credit for writing the episode,
Right.
and he got the credit for that one, and it charmed me a little bit, like because he's sitting there as an actor and as a writer, thinking, "What does this guy do after dark?"
Right. Gets
Although, Tyler,
chased by a giant
a
guy
lot
who
of,
leaves on a scooter.
Yeah.
a lot
Sorry,
of Thierry
Tyler,
Henry.
but
Yeah,
Nice, excellent.
because Coach Beard tells Thierry Henry to shut up. I think like 4 times.
it's at least 4
Oh.
times.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Love it. He's such a nice guy. I met him.
He
once.
is.
Oh, there you go.
Tyler, how was the Hamilton like blacksmithers or whatever?
Forge FC.
Forge.
Hey, defending CPL champions, Forge.
2 times.
So
2 times.
you are the
champions.
only one of us to have gone to see a CPL game, correct?
I would assume so. Yeah.
I have not,
But we-
although I did get free tickets for this Saturday's game. So
Are you
There
gonna?
you
You
go.
should. Are you gonna go?
I don't think
And-
so. I have to work. So
And technically, it wasn't actually a CPL game. It was one of the Conquistador Cup games.
Right.
The CONCACAF.
But you didn't see Hamilton play.
no, they
No,
played.
it was Hamilton, but it was technically
Part of
it's
the
not a
CPL league game.
it's not a league game. It's one
What?
of those
Hold on.
tournament
Yep.
games.
Yep.
What?
Yep. Soccer.
Hey, we
yep.
know about the soccer.
Yep.
They're right now in England.
Yeah.
They're not playing league games. They're playing cup league games.
No, but
Yeah.
what's this one? So
It's
some
the
like
Conquistador.
some major city with an actual team that people like in Mexico is playing against
Panama.
Hamilton.
Panama.
So, I assume it's Panama City.
I forget what the team name was. It's something crazy. Let me find it.
So some actual team with actual fans in an actual country that loves soccer
Yeah.
Comes to
is-
Canada.
is playing and plays against Hamilton.
That's right.
Is that any different than like an NHL team going to play in Florida?
Independente is their
Ooh.
name.
The Independe. Is that even independent in
Independe.
Spanish, or they're just like
Honestly, I
added
don't
an
know.
E to make it a Spanish word?
That's a good question.
But was it fun?
It was very wet.
Yeah. It was not a
And
good
it
night
was,
for football.
It was
Or soccer.
it was an okay game. The
Did
fans
Hamilton win?
no, nobody won. It was 0-0. Nobody even scored.
Oh.
Tyler, 0-0.
No, yeah.
Oh.
This is why soccer sucks.
Oh my
And-
god.
See the
And-
field
and-
conditions. Come on.
Whatever.
That's so annoying. That
And yeah, now they go to Panama to play leg 2.
And
I
if
should-
if Hamilton scores 1 goal, that's 2, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Only if it's tied.
If it's 1-1, they still win.
in any other sport, Mark, I'm gonna ask you a question. And I'll get
Yeah.
to Chris because I think
Yeah.
I'll ask him.
Yeah,
So-
I'm watching it too.
Mark, what was the score of the Jays game today?
Let's not talk about the Jays game today.
No, just tell
7
me the score. Just tell me the score.
7-1.
Okay, and Chris, so you told me a score. So a team won, the Tampa Bay Rays won with 7, and the Blue Jays lost with 1. Chris, I assume you're cheering for a Ticats touchdown?
Yeah, it was a pick 6.
What is the score of that game right now?
Currently, before the extra point attempt, it is 20-0.
So if the game were to end
Wow.
right now, Hamilton would win the game with 20 points.
Mhm.
And who are they playing?
The Red Blacks.
The Red Blacks would lose the game with 0 points. And I'm going to get back to Tyler. So the Panama Hamilton game you saw, what was the score?
0-0, 0-0.
So there was no score.
No.
No 1-1.
Nope.
Yep.
I'm almost.
Advantage Hamilton for not allowing a road goal.
I guess I'm almost okay with a tie though if it's like 1-1, 2-2.
Yeah. If
But-
someone puts a point on the board,
Nothing happened. No one
The
scored.
problem, like, I agree with you, and the fact that there should be a result in games. The problem with soccer is it could go on for fucking days.
Talked about this. That's why they have the penalty kicks, and we tried to address this by fixing that, but you can't because soccer can go on forever. That's why we have to go to penalty kicks.
Golden,
Like it
golden
could
goal.
go longer than
Yeah, but
cricket if
even-
we.
Golden goal
even
could
golden
happen,
goal,
like-
it could go.
Yeah, it can go forever.
So have it go on forever.
They just played 90 minutes and scored no goals, and you
Yeah.
want them
You
to
wanna
play
go
one
longer?
goal.
Listen, I think the real reason is that one, I'm not talking about necessarily in Canada, but if we're talking about like somewhere like England, the stadium's going to run out of booze. Like that's the real problem. They can't go longer than 90 minutes. They only
and-
have 90 minutes worth of booze.
And TV money because you have to have games done at a certain time so they can put
Move
on
on
something
to
else.
So they
the
can
It's
go
like
watch
when
the
you go to
BBC.
a Jays game that goes into extra innings, but they've stopped serving at the 7th inning, and you're like, "Fuck!"
Yeah.
But
and then they
sports,
stop putting food out at the 9th, and you're just like, oh, come on.
Well, at least they
That's-
let you bring in your food and drinks now, not like the
Yeah.
Tie Cats.
Yeah.
sports are binary. Sports are winners and losers.
Not in
Sports are
soccer.
champions and everyone
Hockey
else.
was like
but-
that once upon a time.
And they've learned their lesson. Hockey learned their lesson and they changed.
I'm not against ties in hockey.
Really?
I hate the shootout.
Yeah, but I
I'd
mean,
rather-
it's better than a tie. I think it's better
I'd
than a
rather-
tie.
I rather prefer regulation wins worth more than
I agree with
You're-
that. I agree with
yeah.
that. Regulation win
No
worth
way-
3, overtime win worth 2.
exactly.
I agree with, because if I am playing hockey and once I get to overtime, I'm like, meh.
Exactly.
I get my point no matter what. Who cares? Okay, shall we start with our
hit the lead
rundown?
off?
I might at the end of this add more time to some specific questions
Okay.
because I think some of them are worth more than the minute, and I'm already cheating with one of these questions
Beautiful.
with my hey Chris, give me a bonus 30
Yeah,
seconds. Okay, so the Scotch Sporting leadoff, where we will take 5 topics. We are going to give a minute on each topic, and when the minute is done, we move on to the next one. But we have some good ones, so I think we might need to give them a bit more time afterwards. So episode 4, we might be cheating a little bit. So speaking of cheating, are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay, so I'll give a bit of the intro before we start the timer. So game 1 of the Blue Jays Rays series, and it's already they've developed a bit of a rivalry, these teams, which is awesome. And the Rays are in first place. The Blue Jays are contending for a playoff in the same division. It's a bit of contention. You know, the Rays clinched playoffs today, which is great. The Blue Jays are now in a tie with the Yankees with losing this. Kevin Kiermaier, who is still just concerningly handsome, slides home, hits Alejandro Kirk. Something falls out. Kiermaier picks it up and walks back to the dugout.
What was that?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
That sounds like the CFL game, Chris.
That's.
No, that was me.
I was
that
gonna
was
say,
you?
it sounded like Tyler watching that play.
That's a TFC
Oh,
with the TFC link
Oh.
going. Yeah.
So something knocks out of Kirk's wrist. Kiermaier picks it up, walks to the dugout. You can see him then handing it to a coach, very subtly, almost like passing money, like a hand,
to a drug deal.
shaking hands like as a bribe. And then it turns out what fell out of Kirk's wrist was the scouting, like the scouting stats, how they're going to pitch to people. And the Blue Jays discovered what it was immediately, went and said, give it back. And the Rays said, no. And Kiermaier came out yesterday and was like, or 2 days ago, and was like, I didn't know what it was the first story. And then today was like, yeah, I knew what it was.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep it. And so, of course, they hit him today. And you knew that was going to happen. The last game of the
Obviously.
series, they're going to plunk him.
Well, especially when the score 7-1, game's out of hands. Like, fuck.
Exactly. So, gentlemen, I ask you to start the clock. Is all fair in love and baseball? What should have happened? Do you think it was on purpose? Let's go.
Was him
No,
taking
for
it
sure it
on
was on
purpose?
Taking the thing on purpose? Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
He looked
no,
down,
100%.
because I watched the replay. He looked down, he saw what it was. He's like, oh, picks it up, looks back, makes sure no one's looking, and then goes to the dugout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on purpose.
Should he have given it back? Or it's, hey, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, morally, you should have given it
no,
back.
he
but
should not have given it
in this-
back.
In the spirit competition, you don't give it back.
He should not have given it back. I don't like
Really?
that he got it, but he should not have.
Yeah.
He is under no obligation to give that back.
Yeah. There's no rule.
There's
that says
no
he has to
rule
give
that says, yeah, there's nothing illegal about that.
None of you think he should have done the right thing and given it back.
I said morally you should have, but
If you
from the
ain't
competitive spirit.
cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah.
Tyler?
I would have done the exact same thing.
Wow.
Time's up.
I am really shocked. Okay, I might want to dig into this a little bit more. Okay, next is just, I forget who messaged it, but someone said, man, Jared Goff is really bad. I think it was Mark.
Probably Mark, yeah.
My motto has always been, for the last 5 years, Goff is garbage.
Goff is garbage.
Goffage.
So, and then it just caused me to do a stat comparison. So both of them are not with the teams that drafted them. Carson Wentz, who is not vaccinated, now has 2 ankle sprains in both ankles. He is with the Colts, and Jared Goff is with the Detroit Lions. Comparing their career statistics, they're pretty close. Like categories, it looks like, I think it was Jared Goff was higher in a whole bunch of categories, but they were also bad categories.
He's hiring completions
So
and percentage.
my question to start the timer, the first timer, and I need a bonus 30 seconds because we're going to do one of my favorite things after this. So our first minute, who are you taking at this point in their career right now? Jared Goff or Carson Wentz? Gentlemen.
Do I have to take one?
You have to take
That
one
was
of
gonna
them.
be my question.
I have to take Goff because Wentz can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tyler.
That's my just because Wentz cannot stay healthy, I have to go with Goff. If I have to take somebody, I don't want to, but if I have to,
So
You'd
I'm
rather
gonna-
do a Taysom Hill thing and give it to the tight end and be like, you're
Yeah.
fine.
So I'm gonna go opposite of them because we've seen more of Goff, so we know that he's more garbage. Whereas with Wentz, it's like maybe he's good if he can stay healthy. He just needs to figure out how to do that.
So,
But
and
he
that's
never
what,
will.
that's why I mentioned the stats thing is Goff was higher in the good stuff, but also higher in the bad stuff. So I get
Right.
it's like
It's like more change.
we know you're trash. There's not enough data on you.
Right.
That's
Right.
what you're saying, Chris.
or maybe you take Wentz to then he got hurt and then you can pick up a different guy.
Right.
Yeah.
That.
If I'm given
ooh.
that option, I will take Wentz.
All
Oh,
right.
I love what a loophole. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
it's
there you go.
stuck with one of them.
That's-
Okay.
Time's up on that
So,
one, so we'll run
My
the second
bonus my bonus 30 seconds for you gentlemen, and if you want to do a minute if that's easier. I will one of my favorite things is who could you have drafted in a draft bust, and it's only fun like 5-10 years later. So
one. Right.
these two guys were drafted in 2016, which is 5 years ago. I remember listening to a podcast walking to dodgeball, I think, and it was Peter Schreger, who's on Good Morning Football, discussing the difference and like what an amazing choice. Who do you pick? You know, Jared Goff was a bit more of the fancy boy. Carson Wentz was the gritty guy, but it was like, wow, what an embarrassment of quarterback riches. And seeing as how both of them have turned out to be a bit of a like, we'd rather pick Wentz and maybe he'll get injured so we can pick someone else. Go back to the 2016 draft. Who are you taking before these guys?
Did you look at the draft class?
I did. It's not.
awful.
It's
I
not
was
a
gonna
good.
say
Yeah,
it's not
there's.
good.
They literally took the two best quarterbacks available, and
Although
both teams need to draft quarterback. No one saw Dak Prescott round
I was
4.
gonna say,
Other than that, that quarterback class was garbage.
Right.
but there were non-quarterbacks you could have taken in this. Not many.
But they needed quarterbacks though.
I
Philly Philly just gotten rid of Foles, and they just got rid of Sam Bradford
good old
because they got
Tiny
them
Horse.
from the Rams.
Oh man,
And the
and
Rams
then you
got-
got Paxton Lynch, who
Who
I
the block
believe is
was
in,
traded up
and
again.
I believe he's in the CFL now. Or
He
he's-
is with the Saskatchewan
Right.
Roughriders. I looked him up as well.
You have Christian Hackenberg. Never heard of ya.
He was
Jacoby
a Viking, wasn't he,
Brissett.
at one point?
Would you? Okay, so would you take? Obviously, Dak Prescott was someone no one saw. He was like 4th round, I think.
Yeah.
So would you guys take Jacoby Brissett over Wentz or Goff now,
No, not at
No.
all.
Tyler?
No.
Not even the Dolphins
I
want
mean-
to go with Jacoby Brissett, and he's going to be starting on Sunday if Tua can't go.
Yeah, I think Tua is officially not going.
Yeah, he's
Tua
yeah,
is
he's officially up.
officially out as of,
Okay.
officially as
Oh,
of today.
and I wasn't
okay.
paying attention. Time's totally up.
Tyler, here you go, bud.
Yeah.
We have a soccer thing for you. So the MLS and Liga MX
Liga.
Liga.
gonna be Liga forever. Oh, Liga, like I assume that's Spanish for league.
There you go.
Great. So Liga MX, they're going to be pausing for another month in the season because soccer
Yeah.
doesn't pause enough for random stupid shit.
Right.
They're going to pause and do a cup style tournament. How do you feel about this? I will open up the floor to everybody, but Tyler, if you just want to take the minute, please go right ahead.
Well, does anybody have anything else to say? Because it's such a fucking money grab.
Is that
It's
all
an
it is?
absolute money grab. Yeah.
It's a money grab, and it's another way to get spots in the CONCACAF Cup.
Okay.
Right.
Because
So
the winner's guaranteed the spot in the 3rd round
And
or
it's-
something like that.
and it's 3 teams.
Yeah, because then the 2nd and 3rd go automatically qualify for the 1st round.
Yeah. So this is just another 3 spots for Mexican teams because
So would this not expand the CONCACAF Cup? Would
It
you need
might
to
a
add more
little bit.
teams?
but really it's probably going to be the same freaking teams that win. Like it's
So it's not like a
so-
Champions League thing. It's
Well, it
pause
is,
for
yeah.
a
Oh, it is.
tournament.
It's like the FA Cup. It's like the EPL
yeah.
Cup now.
So they're taking all the teams from Liga MX and MLS. So all the teams. It's not just like the top teams. It's all of them, and they're playing each other.
Time's
92
up.
Okay.
teams I think I've read. Yeah.
So it's going to be Mexican teams, 3 Mexican.
Oh yeah,
Got it, got it, got it.
it's gonna be Mexican teams.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
next, hey, CFL news that Chris seems to think is interesting. Interesting enough, it served it to me. No. Facebook
Yeah.
and their algorithms thought this article would be interesting enough to me
Right.
Popped up in your feed.
because
Oh,
you commented on it.
I did. Well, my buddy commented on it, and I replied to his comment with a snarky comment.
And Facebook to me went, you might like this.
Yeah.
I'm sure you comment on a lot of things, Chris, but this one Facebook thought I would enjoy. So by gum, it's in our SS leadoff.
There you go.
So the CFL, the Argos hired Chris Jones as a defensive consultant. He's the former head coach of both the Toronto Argonauts and Saskatchewan. And you made some zinger about fines, so I had to look it up.
Yes.
And he basically, when he was with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, blew through the cap and didn't care. And the fine was so cute.
Yeah.
It was like $25,000.
It was 60, but yeah, it's like nothing.
which was
but in CFL
adorable.
dollars, that is a lot of money for CFL.
Not for the team, not for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
So
60
Chris,
grand is nothing. It's one player on
get-
the roster.
that's so sad. You get to take this minute, talk to us about this hiring, and are they hiring him essentially as a coach, like their head coach, and this is their way to get under the salary cap? Go ahead.
Well, so the CFL has a salary cap for coaches. So the thought is that they're bringing him in as consultant. That way that he doesn't count against their salary cap hit for coaches. and that yes, he will indeed be doing some form of coaching. But I will say this: Dinwiddie needs to, who is the coach of the Argos right now, he needs to have his head on a swivel, because Chris Jones will be the coach of the Argos, probably if not next year, at least halfway through next year.
He's the defensive consultant.
Right,
Sorry,
but
go
next
ahead,
year
Mark.
he'll be coordinator, and then he'll be head coach.
I was reading a tweet from it. I believe it was Dave Naylor, and he said, "To all of you who said that Chris Jones was just going to come in as a consultant and not run the team and be okay with that, I'm sorry, you were right."
Yeah.
So there's a cap. There's a salary cap for coaches in the CFL.
Yes.
Operations technically, so it includes everything under that rainbow. So like training.
Time's up.
So consultant truly is the loophole. Okay. So NHL and the Ronskis, NHL and Rona, not to be confused, as Mark said before the show, with the hardware store.
Correct.
So
I mean, it could be a sponsorship deal that we're talking about, even though they're not sponsoring the NHL.
if you were someone who saw this on the list and went, "Are they going to talk about the hardware store?" You should probably stop listening to this podcast. And
No. Keep
get
listening.
back in school. Actually, that's true. We'll take stupid people. So the NHL seems to be doing well to get players to not do the thing. Chris, I don't know if you have the graphic handy.
I might. Yeah, there we go.
I just really love it. So the NHL is doing a really good job getting the players to not do the thing. They expect to be, I think it's 90%, it might be 95%. But enough
Well, the fact there's only 10 to 15 players.
I was going to say,
like 99%.
enough that Bill Daly says by the time we start the season, we expect only 10 to 15 players to not be vaccinated. And that's crazy. So my question to you guys is, the NHL isn't mandating vaccines per se, but why do you think they're getting it right?
Because there's 7 Canadian teams, so teams have to cross the border to play, and if they don't get vaccinated, because then they won't get paid for those games.
Nope, wrong. Percentage of players in the NHL who are American, please.
Well, yeah, but again,
Percentage of players in the NHL who are American.
It's not 98%.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that percentage is low.
It's not 2% either.
But what I'm saying is that it's low, and that most of the guys in the league are not from the States and don't have the my freedoms mentality. Most of the players in the league are not American.
It's money related.
Sure.
I'm sorry, it is. Because you have to play the Canadian teams at least, twice? There's 7? That's 14 games.
But it's money related in the...
That's huge.
It's money related in the NFL, though. But the NFL...
Canada, though.
NFL, you only lose your money if the game is canceled.
Yeah.
Tyler?
Time's up. Oh, shit. Go, Tyler, quick. Get your thoughts in.
It's clearly money related, obviously.
I love Chris's theory.
I do like it. It's an interesting theory for sure. The 27% of the players are American.
27. Thank you for looking that up.
I looked it up.
But how many a percentage of Americans are anti-vaxxers? Right? Because it's not everybody. So what I'm saying is that I'm also saying that maybe hockey attracts people who are a little more conscious of
Hockey
others.
is the only major league of all the 4 sports that has an abundance amount of Canadian teams. So they cross the border and not lose games. That's why they're doing it. You think NBA players are getting themselves vaccinated to come over and play Raptors? Hey, that's 2 games. I don't care.
Okay, how are we feeling about Quora as a source for information?
Which one?
Quora?
Isn't that like Ask Jeeves or whatever, or something like that?
It's like a community Ask Jeeves.
Okay, what do you got?
Because I have 2 theories to go along with Chris's conspiracy theory, which is one, what league is the most educated?
Oh, I would imagine the NFL would technically be no, because you have to go to university.
Right, here's
it's not hockey, that's for sure.
No,
hockey is not run by the players though. The owners, because the NBA is run by its players, so that's why you have a little bit more players
like who has the final say.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, and then my second question that I just quickly looked up. Hold on, let me see what Quora has to offer me. No, that's so stupid. I'm not even. Okay.
So we're done with Cora.
So from the christianpost.com,
Oh,
Oh God.
Well, this should be good.
my other question was, what is the level of Christianity in sports? Because I think, and come at me, people, the Venn diagram of uber evangelical religion and anti-vax is a circle.
right.
I believe we said this last week.
Yes.
So what sport is the most Christian? And this is from a legit quote
It's got to
unquote
be
source.
football. It's got to be football.
Any guesses? Mark? Tyler?
I'm between basketball and football.
Okay, so this isn't.
I want to say football because there's more white people in that.
So this is at issue is Burgess' curiosity of how many professional athletes. So Burgess, the guy that wrote this, who's Eastern Illinois University professor of something Jesus-y. At issue with Burgess' curiosity about how many professional athletes among the 4 brands included a Bible quote in their Twitter biography.
Okay.
And an entry on the
That's how they're
website.
gonna determine which one's the most Christian.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Okay.
this is already flawed. Okay.
Yeah.
Just like Christianity. In an entry on the website Religion in Public posted Monday morning, Burge found that MLB players were most likely to have Bible verses cited in their bios, with
MLB.
8%.
I didn't even. You know what? I didn't even think, because they're so, like, so heavily with a Spanish background.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, that or Hispanic, I guess I should say. But they, you know, like, there's so heavily there's a lot of Christianity there.
Behind them was the NFL at about 4%. Far behind the MLB and NFL were the NBA with 3. Only 3 of, not 3%, 3 of the 359 players, and none of the NHL players.
Wow.
The NHL is getting better and better at recruiting its players from all over the world, most notably Scandinavia and Eastern European countries. In both regions, religious commitment is some of the lowest in the world. Chris, you're right.
I'm goddamn right.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so thanks for letting me spend some time on that. The other one, I wanted to cheat a bit
Uh-oh.
on, and just back to, and now I've lost
Well, I think,
the argument.
have we caught up?
Tate's having some connectivity issues.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you're back.
Okay, everything froze when I tried to pull up the document. This is what I get for cheating.
Right.
Because I wanted to cheat and talk about Kevin Kiermaier a bit more, just because I'm curious as to the 3 of you all said, fuck it, I wouldn't give it back.
Yeah, I wouldn't get, fuck no. If I see that on the ground, and I'm going to be a little more sly than him, by the way. I see it on the ground, I'm rubbing my hip against the ground and placing it up against my hip and then squeezing it next to my body and kind of giving it like a little rub, like, oh man, my hip, you know, just so no one's too suspicious at why I have my hand pressed so hard against my hip. And then I get back to the dugout and I'm like, oh, I gotta go down to the tunnel to get looked at. And that's when I give it to the coach, because there's no fucking cameras in the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess what kills me is how he gave it to the coach, because I could have bought, like, I didn't know what it was. I thought it fell out of my pocket.
Right.
But he clearly handed it over to the coach.
Right.
So, Mark and Tyler, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you give it back?
Because there's no rules against it.
Yeah, it's competitive
opponent.
sports. Sorry.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
If there's
I'd
a rule that
look at
says there,
it.
hey, you have to give back the other team their card, then I give it back, but no rule. So I'm going to take the information that's given to me.
Okay, riddle me this. So I guess, what I would maybe do, my loophole is I'd send someone into the tunnel and photocopy it, and they'd be like, here it is. I guess for me, it's the denial. So the Blue Jays realized
That's the shitty
immediately.
part.
Yeah, afterwards, yeah.
I would not have denied it either. It's
No.
like, no, you're not fucking. No, I'm not giving it back. Go away. You dropped it. It's your problem. Sorry.
Okay, so we can
Take-
all agree that that's the problem.
Yeah,
His response immediately afterwards, yeah.
his response going back and forth. Oh, I didn't mean it. No, I wasn't gonna give it. No, shut up and just say it, man. Like, I really wish they would come out. The Blue Jays would come out and say, "Yeah, we hit him on purpose."
Yes.
I think Gordon did that with the first pitch.
Yeah.
Right, like
First
just-
pitch
just-
square in the back. Come on.
Yeah.
Brucky
I
knew
know
what
it's
he was
obvious,
doing.
but like come out like if you get the question
Well, he
asked,
would have been
some
suspended
reporter's
if he
gonna-
admitted
yeah,
it.
No, he's still
Wow.
going to probably get
he's
suspended.
gonna get suspended for sure.
Yep.
And Kiermaier won't.
No.
But
No.
he
I
didn't
guess
do
he
anything
did-
wrong.
He didn't do
There's no
anything wrong.
rule.
Yeah, he did nothing wrong.
Show me in the rule book where it says that this is against the rules. Okay. I host a podcast with people of questionable morals, but that's fine. So our deep dive topic is the Ben Simmons situation. And we won't stay on this too much because who cares? He is a dingus and who cares? So Ben Simmons is, I don't know, Mark, would you even call him a star?
Can I just say one thing? Until
Yes.
this happened,
You did
ask
not
me
know
and
who Ben
I
Simmons
had
was.
never heard of Ben Simmons.
Which is such a
I
like
don't watch basketball,
No,
Mark.
but I've been screaming about it in our chats for like the last 6 months.
Until this happened, I don't pay, Mark, it's basketball. I don't pay attention. I don't care.
have you heard of Joel Embiid?
Who?
Okay, Joel Embiid.
No.
Okay. I was gonna say like if you'd heard of him, then like okay. So the Ben Simmons situation, he
Wayne
plays
Simmons?
for the Philadelphia. Yes, he plays for the Philadelphia 76ers, and he's been a little bitch for the last year, maybe 2 years, Mark, or last year for sure.
No, I would say the last 8 months, not even the year.
He basically thinks he should get paid more, and this offseason he has said, I am not reporting to training camp. I will not ever play again for the 76ers.
It's not about the money. He got his contract last year.
So what's it about?
It's about the organization not having faith in him because they publicly like, pretty much come out and said, we know he's not a good shooter. He might not be the guy for us going forward because of,
So are
what
they
happened in the
actively
playoffs.
trying? Are they actively trying to trade him?
They weren't. It was just something Doc Rivers said, and then
So
he took it as.
But I don't So this guy is literally being a bitch.
Mhm.
Like literally, like they don't want me, even though
The
they
coach
signed
telling
me.
you what's wrong with your game. You got your money. The coach wants you to shoot better. Complains about it in public, and then you cry about it.
Nah, get the fuck off my team.
Yeah.
Get the fuck off my team. Don't play. I don't want you.
So I wanted to do a deep dive on contract holdouts with you guys.
Yes.
Because I think on previous incarnations of this podcast, we've discussed contract holdouts specifically in the NFL. And I think it was with the Le'Veon Bell situation. Because in football, your career could end on a play.
Yes.
So
Especially a running back.
holdouts at the NFL make a little bit more sense.
Do they
But I-
though? Because
But hold
like,
on.
the-
I
like, you
just wanna
get
clarify.
yeah.
This is not a holdout because of a money issue. It's a holdout because he wants to
Right.
get traded. He already
Well,
has his
It's
money.
actually worse, Mark. I don't like.
I know it's
this is worse.
But the subject we're talking about that we're going to deep dive is players holding out for more money.
Right.
There are
Which
a couple. I
Cleveland
think
is
there are a
not
couple
doing.
on this list who just held out because of the organization. Bo Jackson, I think.
Oh, Bo Jackson was drafted by a team he didn't want to play for at all. He didn't hold for more money. He just didn't want to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, exactly. I don't want to play for you.
That wasn't money related though.
Alexa Yashin, Pavel
Alex-
Bure.
Alex Yashin wanted a new contract and more money, and he got that.
Bure
with the
wanted out
Islanders.
of Vancouver.
No, Burry had a fractious relationship with management.
So that's. But how do you? And just playing devil's advocate with Ben Simmons, although I do think he's a little bitch, and I think he is a victim of the curse of the Kardashians. Look at any athlete, because Tristan Thompson is also on this list. Look at any athlete that have touched a Kardashian and tell me their career has improved. That could be a deep dive for next week. So, how would you guys show up to work every day for an organization that you know doesn't really have faith in you? Would you not want to go to somewhere else?
Probably. But they're also paying you a lot of money, and this only got to this point because it's not like he just all of a sudden couldn't shoot. He's had a history of this and has made no reliance on himself to improve himself in that aspect of the game.
So how do you feel as a fan of a player and a holdout?
Well, depends on what the hold's about. In Ben Simmons' situation, I do not sympathize with him at all.
But you would sympathize about money.
If he's like,
If you're not making fair market value, yes.
yeah, absolutely.
But
And
you
Tay,
signed.
I was away and I just wanted to address one thing. You said,
Yes.
how would you feel working for a place that doesn't value you?
Yeah.
You've clearly never worked retail.
I was gonna say, do you want to clip? You want to go bitch about your company, and we'll clip it?
Nope. Nope. We're live. Can't be bitching today.
That's true. I worked retail way back in the day, for a famous ice cream chocolate store.
Ooh, I think I know what you're talking about.
So how do you feel? I think the obvious answer then, how do you feel as a fan of the team with one of your stars as a holdout?
Again,
It depends on the situation.
yeah.
So you guys are entirely dependent on if this is over money or not.
Yeah, I mean, in this situation, I'm on the team side because what he's doing is ridiculous. In situations over money, it's always about, are you being paid fair market value? If the answer is yes, then shut up. And if the answer is no, then pay him.
So you guys, and I think we talked about this when we talked about Le'Veon. He's a very good example. And, what if Vlad decides to next year hold out?
He won't. Baseball's a little bit different because.
But let's just say, for example, because he is on a rookie contract, he is fucking incredible.
Not only is he on a rookie contract, but he has arbitration rights for like the next 4 years. He's under control for like until he's like 25.
And if he were to wake up in the offseason and go, I could be making so much more money, how would you feel about that? Because he is not getting paid fair market value, but he signed a contract. Tyler?
Yeah, it's like it's a rookie contract though. Everybody starts out like that, and I see where you're going.
I don't think he has the legal ability to even
not yet, but like when he's 25, so yes, if he decides that he wants more money, then the Blue Jays are going to offer him, which I highly doubt that that's even going to be the case, but all the power to him. Like if he can continue what he's doing until then, that's fine.
And you guys would support it if Vlad Guerrero woke up in the offseason and said, I'm not getting paid what I'm worth. I'm sitting this out unless you restructure my contract right now.
But you can't do that under the CBAs. I mean, the max he can make is like, I think $1 million. Remember, Pete Alonso is making more money off of winning home run derbies than his actual salary with the Mets.
We're talking hypotheticals here, people.
And
Shut up, Mark, with your
couldn't
facts.
happen at all. Under the CBA, you can't have that happen.
How did you feel about Nylander?
I was fine with that. I thought going 7 or more was going to be too much for him. Him selling for 6.9 is fantastic for me.
But were you, when he was holding out, were you upset with William Nylander?
No, because he was trying to get what he was worth, and he got what he was worth. I just hated it took forever. That was the only issue. So,
I guess, is this something that is reserved for a certain tier of players? Is my question.
It's situations, because Le'Veon Bell was the running back of the NFL.
Yeah. But what about, and I used another baseball example because I was clearly watching baseball when I wrote this, but someone like a Diaz, who isn't a superstar, but he's probably getting paid less than what his market value is right now, are holdouts something only for the stars?
No, but most of the guys wouldn't hold out because they'll just be happy to get money.
Yeah.
They can't command that amount like the superstars can.
So there's no achieving X and demanding Y. It's you look at your skills, you look at what you're getting paid, and you go, hold on a second.
Yeah. Only superstars have that ability because they can elevate themselves above the rest of the pack.
And they also have the ability to say, like, they're the star of the team. Without me, you're shit. Right?
Well, and not even just that you're shit, but I sell this amount in jerseys. I sell this amount in merchandise. I bring this many butts into the seats.
Yeah. I've scored this many goals. I've scored this many points.
Is there anyone holding out that you've any others aside from Ben Simmons that you've been like, get the fuck back to work?
Um,
None that I can think of off the top of my head.
no.
So one of my favorites, and he isn't on this list, is if
James
getting
Harden. But
Yeah?
he came to camp out of shape, so he forced his way out.
Yeah.
I mean, he still played at least. He didn't just say, I'm going to hold out until these guys trade me. Because he knew he was going to lose money if he didn't. So he just came to camp out of shape and played like shit.
I also, and I don't know what list he's on of the ones I sent, and just speaking of the Kardashian curse, was Tristan Thompson. Because I didn't know he held out, or I didn't remember, and he's not good at basketball, but he held out and got a lot of money.
He's okay at basketball. Early in his career, I mean, he's always been a great defender and a rebounder. He was never a scorer. And I believe he was a top 5 pick, if I'm mistaken. Maybe got number 1. No, not number 1.
And Alexa Yashin definitely sticks out in my mind because that was like the perfect age.
Yeah.
When we were just getting into sports, like it's definitely one that sticks out. And I always remembered, so Mark, it was about money. I always remembered he was just like, I do not want to play for Ottawa.
No, it was all about money. That's why the Islanders gave him that 15-year contract, I believe it was.
Ridiculous.
And the Senators got freaking Chara out of that deal.
That's right.
And guess who's back with the Islanders?
That's fun.
Is Chara on the
Chara's
Islanders?
Chara signed with the Islanders.
Oh
Yep.
my god. How old is Chara? He's got to be like
44.
97.
His body's probably 97.
Jesus.
Like, just stop. So also tied with the Islanders, my favorite in this, and not on any of these lists, was Evgeny Nabokov. So, as you know, Chris, he played for your Sharks.
I recall, yep.
And another fun, do you remember tie? He platooned with Vase Toskala.
That's Toskala, yep.
And the Maple Leafs, God bless him, chose the wrong one.
I disagree. I disagree. At the time, Toskala was the better goalie.
He was.
When he played for the Sharks, he was the better of the two. And when Toskala left, I was upset. And then he sucked when he went to Toronto. So I'm like, okay, well, at least he sucks there. Now, and Nabokov platooned with Kiprusoff as well. And Kiprusoff was garbage on the Sharks. And then goes to Calgary and fucking like lights it up.
Scorpio.
Yeah.
So Nabokov left to play in the KHL. I assume it was during the lockout. So he went to play in the KHL. He played for a season. Was like, I would like to come back.
Right.
So he signed a deal with the Detroit Red Wings in 2011. The Red Wings at the time being one of the top NHL teams. He signed a super minimum contract. However, as he started the season with the KHL, NHL rules had him placed on waivers. He basically re-entered the league.
Yep.
And the New York Islanders, which at the time were absolute trash and one of the worst teams, put in a claim and got him. And he went, oh no.
No, thank you.
Oh dear. No thanks. He stated that it didn't make sense to him why they claimed him. The Islanders suspended Nabokov for failing to join the team, and he sat out the rest of the season.
And then played for them the following season.
Played for them the following season because he couldn't. He had to.
Yeah.
He took a season to try and get out of it. So he was one of my favorite holdouts because they signed him, and he went, "Oh."
Well, listen, he's signing back in the NHL and going to a cup contender, and then all of a sudden, I'm now claimed by this garbage team that's like not even close to making the playoffs. What are we doing here?
How do you guys feel about this kind of holdout?
I understand it because now his fucking agent should have told him that this was a possibility. And so this is on his agent, not on him. But okay. I understand him not wanting to play for the Islanders at that time. He was coming back to the NHL with the hopes of winning a Stanley Cup. And would he have that year?
No.
What's last time Detroit won?
2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they were still a good team then.
Yes, they were. This was still in there perennially. Oh my god, I'm
I
an
think Lidstrom
asshole.
was still playing. Yeah, Lidstrom may have still been playing.
I just Googled 2011 Stanley Cup champion.
Mhm.
That's when you guys won.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That was that Vancouver, right? That was the Vancouver year.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
was the year the Sharks played Vancouver in the final. That was the year the Sharks were when we had Rob Blake and all that. That was that year.
Was that the year you guys traded for Brian Campbell?
Did we?
I remember Brian Campbell being traded to the Sharks during the deadline, and then
Did he ever play?
he played past the deadline in the playoffs, and then signed a big contract, I think, with Chicago in the offseason.
Weird. I don't recall that at all.
But I was gonna say what Nabokov's agent should have done was, knowing the waiver process, go to the Red Wings and say, "Hey, can you make a deal with the Islanders just in case they
Right.
the claim?
Right.
Throw my 5th round pick, whatever.
Exactly. Just say we'll give you whatever it takes to not do this.
Not claim them exactly."
Yeah.
So now my final Yabat question. So we're back on Ben Simmons, or a Ben Simmons type person. You are now a GM of another team. Are you going to take him? Like, who's going to trade for someone that's sitting out? Period.
I mean,
Not just either for. I don't know if the answer is different for money or being a little bitch.
No, the team that's going to trade for him is going to be the team that believes that they can fix him.
right.
Because the only thing wrong with him is his shooting. Everything else he is excellent at: rebounding, passing game, defense, all-star level.
But are you not worried he's going to come to your team and someone's going to critique him on something and he'll be a little bitch for your team too?
If they keep it private, it shouldn't be an issue. But once you put it on public, like Doc Rivers did and GM, then that's an issue. But the team trading for him, they won't do that. Especially if the price of getting him is, getting lower and lower every day because of how this is getting dragged out in the media. Yeah.
Is the answer different for someone who might be sitting out for financial reasons?
I mean,
Like, I'm not getting paid what I'm worth. Like, aren't you worried he's going to come to you, be even better, and will do the same thing to your team?
depends
No,
on.
he's-
I mean, it depends on the league. If it's a league with a salary cap, then maybe that might be an issue. But
He's only in his second year of his 5-year contract, of a max contract. He's getting paid well.
So what about someone like a Le'Veon Bell who sat out the entire year for Pittsburgh and then went to the Jets?
But that's the thing. In the NBA, he's already making the max money he can make. NBA has these max salary rules.
Right.
NFL doesn't have that.
right.
As a fan, do you want someone like that on your team?
If my team is, say, the Minnesota Timberwolves, yes.
Poor Timberwolves. Didn't we, last week's podcast, they're the worst team of all time?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm the Timberwolves, I will take Ben Simmons.
I guess I don't get these kind of distractions. And I mean, this is a whole other conversation about how some distractions in sports are okay and some aren't. And I wouldn't want someone who's willing to sit out on my team, regardless of whether it's for money or being a little bitch and you think the coach is being mean to you that day. It's like, what's going to stop you from coming to me and doing the same thing?
Right. I get that, but I don't know if they're like, if you value them, if you think they're worth it, then you're gonna take the chance.
Like a Deion Sanders. He said it. Didn't he re-enter the draft? Didn't he refuse his team?
Deion Sanders?
Didn't he?
Eli Manning did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Eli
yeah.
Manning did. I
Eli
remember
Manning
Deion
certainly
Sanders
did.
maybe pulling for more money.
Didn't
Maybe.
what do you call it? Fucking Elway. Elway also didn't play for.
Elway did that too for the
Yeah.
Colts. But at least
And
Manning said to the Chargers, "Hey guys, don't draft me. I won't play for you."
Right.
And Chargers like, "Whatever, we're drafting you."
Yeah.
And Bo Jackson, Dave was telling me yesterday, the Bo Jackson holdout was something like the owner, he wouldn't play for the owner because the owner did something that made him get fined by the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he invited him onto a charter plane, and this is back when anything deemed as a gift can get you excluded, and that's
yeah.
what happened.
And he assured Bo Jackson that this would be, don't
Only
worry,
live-
this isn't a violation.
Yeah. You're just going on a plane ride.
and then it was a violation. So that's why he was like, fuck you, I'm not playing for you.
Yeah.
So this is a holdout I can get behind.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, any other holdout talk that you want to mention? It hasn't happened to me, and that's why I'm loving these hype.
Right.
Because it hasn't happened to anyone I love, and it hasn't happened on a team that I love. Have you guys experienced it as a fan directly?
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. And if it did, oh wait, yes. Okay, hold on. Yes. Chris Williams for the Tiger Cats.
Oh, my boy Williams.
Right. So he had offers to play in the NFL, but he was under contract so the CFL used to they changed the rules a little bit, but they used to do this dirty thing where they would sign you to a 1-and-1. So 1-year contract with a 1-year option that the team has. And so if you were good, they would re-up you and then they'd own you for another season. Well, he signed the 1-and-1 and didn't realize that it was a 1-and-1. So he played really well his first season. And then some NFL teams obviously contacted his agent and said, yo, we want to come try you out. And because he was under contract, Tiger Cats are like, no, you have to play. And so there was a little animosity and I don't think he ever sat. No, he did sit out, didn't he? Yeah, he sat out a whole season and then he ended up going to Ottawa after he washed out in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. With the Saints, I believe.
Well, he played with the Bears and the Saints and someone else. He bounced around a little bit. But
Tyler, does this happen to you?
Not that I can remember.
Not even in your Soccers?
They own the players in soccer.
Yeah,
it's different.
It's different. It's way different in soccer.
I own you.
Yeah.
Oh,
which is a weird.
And like if you're really good, it doesn't like there's no holding out. It's like Ronaldo. Like, I don't want to play with you anymore. Contract's void. I'm gonna go whoever I want to.
That's weird.
Okay, the would you rather got deleted, so I'm gonna try and remember it as best I can. So bear with me for a second. So this week's would you rather has to do with our deep dive. Would you rather have your star player sit out during what you think is your playoff window? Like the year that you're like, okay, this is the time we're going to make the playoffs. Your star player sits out, but he re-signs with your team the next year and is on the team for the next 5 years. No guarantees of what's going to happen after.
Or
So there's an option here. Is it?
Or you ditch him right away, have time to get someone else, but that someone else is now a question mark for your window of opportunity.
No, the first one.
Option one.
Option one.
Yeah.
Oh, but no guarantees for playoffs after this 1 year that
That's
he sits
fine.
out. But you're like,
That's
this
okay.
is my window this year, and he's sitting out.
Yeah. No,
You have no
he's that
guarantees
good,
with the other guy
yeah,
anyway,
if he's
right?
that good,
So-
I'm in.
But your window's there.
Superstar talent is hard to find and even harder to keep.
Yeah.
I think I might be with the other one. I like to plan, and if this is, who knows when my window's going to close, and my window is this year, get the fuck out. I'll find someone who can fill this void,
Well, then
and we're going to go for it.
your manager sounds like the Buffalo Sabres. Then
Yes.
look where that's gotten them.
Terrible. That's you've never been more insulting to me.
Okay, I have a question from the chat. I said if we have a minute, we'll get to it.
For sure.
Okay, so the question from the chat is opinion about the pay difference. I think this is mostly a troll. The pay difference between the WNBA and the NBA.
Well, here's the thing: the NBA is what generates all the revenues. That's why their pay is that accordingly.
If
If the WNBA can make that much money, then they should be paid accordingly. But they're not. In fact, the NBA is supporting the WNBA. Without the NBA support, the WNBA wouldn't exist.
right.
What's the question?
Like, well, because the question is like, should the WNBA players, holy fuck, make the same amount as the NBA players?
No.
Or should there be
No.
right? And it's the same with, and I agree. Someone in chat just said same with women's soccer, women's hockey. Just not enough eyeballs on it. If it brought in more revenue, they'd get paid more. And
Absolutely.
It's simple dollars and cents.
It sucks.
It's
now,
not, and people want to push that it's a sexist thing. It's not a sexist thing. It's an economics thing.
But at the core of that economic is sexism. It is a sexism thing. You just need to go one. You just need to go one layer past that.
Right, and you're right about that because it's. And so what? Okay, so what's the difference here? Like, what gets us to watch the WNBA? WNBA's been around for
nudity.
No, I mean maybe, but the WNBA's been around for 25 seasons. I couldn't name 3 teams.
Yeah,
is that my fault?
It's the media.
They're never on SportsCenter. They're never on SportsCenter.
You might get the odd highlight because of Kia Nurse, but that's it.
I couldn't actually. I don't even think I can name one team. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't think I can name one WNBA team.
New York Liberty. Said it first, Tyler.
There you go.
Can you name a city that one plays in?
I would imagine there's one in LA.
Yep.
No idea.
There's
how many
12
teams are there?
Is it a Mystic?
12. There's the Atlanta Dream.
Okay.
The Dallas Wings.
Wings? Okay.
Yeah, the Dallas Wings. The Los Angeles Sparks. The Phoenix Mercury. The Chicago Sky.
That's stupid.
Indiana Fever.
The Chicago Sky?
Yeah. The Minnesota Lynx. Seattle Storm. Connecticut Sun. Las Vegas Aces. The Washington Mystics.
There's a team in Connecticut?
Yep.
Why wouldn't they just be
the New York Liberty.
Hartford? The Hartford Whalers.
Hartford. I don't know.
Hartford Whalers. Is there another city in Connecticut? Exactly. We're really good at geography.
I will say that I've seen the WNBA on TSN more of late,
but not in sports. Like, are they talking about it in SportsCenter? Are they running down the scores as part of the package at the end of the night? I don't see it in the little ticker.
Yeah, no.
Again, I've only seen it when they show Kia Nurse.
You want people to pay attention to it. You need to make people pay attention to it. You need to put it in their faces.
Well, so that's obviously, I'm writing this down on our future episodes document of how to get, because we've done how to get eyeballs in the CFL.
Right.
How to get eyeballs on women's sports. And my other thing, and I mean, it's too long to talk about now, but what sport is best to adapt to co-ed?
Right.
I think tennis.
Yeah. I think I could make an argument for basketball.
So it's not even like something that you can't think of. They have mixed doubles. I mean, a better question you would see to the prizes for women's tennis compared to men's tennis, because there you can make an argument whether it's sexist or not.
Oh, 100%.
And the US Open, you doesn't matter. The winner gets $2.5 million whether you're a
man or woman.
Yeah.
There it is. Perfect. Okay. And that's where it makes total sense.
Yeah, because it's the same venue that both men and women are going, and people are watching both.
And I guarantee you, it gets the same coverage on TSN, on SportsCenter, on ESPN SportsCenter. It gets the exact same coverage, and people I know who Serena Williams is.
Yeah, there you go.
And now everyone knows who Leila Fernandez is.
Exactly.
And Emma Raducanu.
Yeah, you said some names there that I definitely know. Oh, you're still looking at me? Oh.
Yeah. So I just wrote women in sports, and I hope I remember what that was. But I mean, that with tennis, it's racism over sexism, because it was, and I think it was at the height of Serena Williams' career. Although one could argue she's still there. It was who was the highest paid tennis star of the time.
Right, because Sharapova was,
and it was Maria Sharapova.
Yeah, that's insane.
And Eugenie Bouchard's up there.
But that's because of sponsorship deals. That's outside of the actual game itself.
Right. Okay. So if you just took purses from tennis, she's obviously head and shoulders far and away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Do we any other things in the chat?
No, that's pretty much it.
Great. Well, we have
good question, chat.
Yes.
Thank you for
thank you. That was
future show topic.
1973 with that question, by the way.
That's probably the most we've talked about the WNBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we part of the problem? Remember, though, we did have the idea of covering the lingerie football league.
We
did.
are, and I
Is
have
that
to.
still in existence?
I
Or
don't
something
think
like
No, I believe that's folded because
sure
Rob Ford's
COVID.
daughter is now just posting anti-vax things on Instagram instead of playing in the league.
Mm.
I think it was a different one than who does the terrible piece with the KKK, but
Right.
Oh, right.
anyways, look it up if you don't know that. Yeah, I have to do some self-reflecting before we do this as a woman myself.
Mhm.
Why I don't give a shit about women's sports.
Right. Well, yeah. What's the reason? Like, because it's not about quality. Because I've watched women's hockey, and
It's
it's
great.
just as good.
It's no
I
buy
hate-
checking.
I hate fighting in hockey, so why wouldn't I
Exactly.
look
I
like
hate fighting in hockey too.
women's hockey's better? Anyways, okay. Well, any other very quick sports news you want to talk about?
Mark's time to shine.
Yeah, here we go, Mark. You
He's
always
got
have
nothing.
something.
I mean, we talked about the baseball playoffs. I
Oh,
mean-
they've changed the name of the lingerie football league.
Oh, what?
It's now Legends Football League.
Oh boy.
Wait,
Legends
But they
of
still,
what?
have to, they still have to wear lingerie though, or is that?
I don't know. I have to do a lot more research into this, I think.
I got to do some googling after this. We'll turn the cameras off. Well, Twitter. What did you lose, Chris?
No,
He thought the running back was hurt.
No, that was a backwards pass. That was a fumble. I was just worried they were coughing up the ball on their 34.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I will let you guys watch the rest of the game. We are at Scotch Sporting, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
TikTok.
It looks like this league is still going, and TikTok at Scotch Sporting on all of these mediums. I am in my 30s, so I forget about TikTok. But otherwise, thank you. Please tell one other person about this podcast, or leave us a review. Would be really awesome. But otherwise, thanks for listening, everybody.
You've been listening to a Rebel Press podcast. Visit rebelpress.com for more podcasts.